Hey everybody, thanks for joining me for another Unity tutorial. In this video I'm going to be going over a box that can be broken. In the scene already I have a player with graphics and the camera, and I already made a camera controller and player controller. And then in the environment I have a ground element. The only thing you need for this video would be a broken crate model and a whole crate model. It doesn't have to be a crate, it can be like a glass window or anything that you want broken. But basically I have a Blender open too. You need a model that's basically just a hole, it's a solid model, and then you need another model that looks the exact same, but it's made out of all the individual pieces that you want. You can make it as detailed as you want. In this case, I have 54 individual pieces to the crate. You can make it less or more, however much you want. But basically, that's how you need to divide it. So as you can see, if I scroll through these pieces, you can see all the broken pieces. So that's all you need. So as you can see, if I add both models into my scene, you can see my broken crate, my whole crate. If I go into the game, press play, you'll see that this crate stays intact. This crate breaks into a bunch of pieces. And so yeah. And basically what I'm going to be showing you in this video is having a whole crate that you can click on to break into a bunch of pieces. And yeah. So we'll be going over that in this video. So first, I'm going to add the whole crate in my scene. I'm then going to, because I'm going to be changing the model, I'm actually going to unpack the prefab, because I'm going to be changing the model, so I'm just going to, I actually could have changed it and then just applied the settings, but in this case, I'm just going to unpack it. And then in that, since I already did that, I'm just going to delete the whole crate model here. So basically, it's not even a prefab anymore, it's just a whole crate model. And so I'm going to add a component. I'm just going to call this crate. And this script is basically going to allow you to click on the crate and break it. Okay, so in the script, I have an update and start method. I'm just going to remove those for now. Basically, I want it to be to where if my cursor is hovering over the crate, I want to break it. So I'm going to do a void on mouse. And for this case, just in case you want to do other things, I'm going to do on mouse over. Because then I can do if you then press a certain key. In this case, input.get. I'm just going to do get mouse button. Yeah, just get mouse button down. And the mouse button in this case is going to be 1, which is, actually no, I'm going to do 0. That's the left mouse button, which is the primary mouse button. This, because it's the primary mouse button, this is the exact same thing as void on mouse drag. On mouse drag is basically if you click and drag with the left mouse button. But the reason I did it this way is in case you want to do like the right mouse button, you can do this system and then just do 1. So yeah, you can do, and if you want to get a key, you can just do input.get key. Get key down, and then you can do key code dot, and then you got all your keys here. And if you want to do a mouse button, mouse 0, 1, it will even tell you what type it is here, left or primary. This is the right. But yeah, in this case, since we're just doing a mouse button, I'm just gonna do mouse button down being 1 or 0. Sorry. Yeah, it's the left mouse button in this case. Now, I then want to do my code for destroying, so this is basically if I'm hovering over it with my mouse button, and I click it with the left mouse button, I then want to add another condition into this if statement because I don't want it to be able to activate if I'm far away from it, so I want it to be if I'm close enough to the crate. So I'm going to create a public variable. I'm just going to make it a float, and this is going to be I'm just going to call it click dist for the distance I can be to it to click it. And then I'm going to then say and I now need to get the distance from me to the crate. So to do this, I'm going to, on the player, I think I already added one, a tag. You want to add the player tag. And then I'm going to go to the crate. I'm going to create a transform. I'm going to call this the player. Then I need to then set the reference, so I'm going to do a void start. So on startup, it should do this. I then want to then set the player equal to game object dot get or dot find game object with tag. And then for the tag, I'm going to do the player tag. Now, this is a game object, and since I set the player to be in the transform, I'm then just going to add at the end of this transform. So now if I say player, it's going to be the player object. Now I need to then calculate the distance, which would be pretty easy. I'm just going to do this in void update, which start is activated on startup, obviously, and then update is activated once every frame. So I'm then just going to create another variable up here, being a float, called the distance. I'm then going to, on update, set the distance equal to the player dot position minus the transform dot position dot magnitude. And that's basically player dot position minus the transform dot position is the direction from the crate to the player, and then dot magnitude is the length of that direction, which would be the distance. So then, as the second condition, I'm also going to check to see if the distance is less than or equal to the click distance. So basically, if I am close enough to whatever the click distance is set to, and I'm just going to set this to a default value of like 5, but you can change that in the inspector. And basically, when you get within, in this case, 5 units from it, it will then be destroyed. So I'm then going to then activate destroy crate method. Now I'm then going to then add in I'm going to create that method. I'm going to create a void destroy crate. So as you can see, now it's not giving me any errors, and now basically, this is just to simplify it. Basically, anything I put within this method is going to be called in this case. It just kind of organizes everything. So basically, what I want to do is I want to then have a reference to my broken crate. So I'm going to create a public game object called broken crate. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to basically instantiate instantiate basically just means spawn object. In this case, I'm going to do the broken crate. And then I have to put a position. So for the position, I'm just going to do the transform.position. Because basically, transform with a capital T is just the transform class in general. Transform with a lowercase t is the transform of the object that the script is on. If you don't know what transform is, that's basically this component up here that controls the position, rotation, and scale of the object. So it basically does the transform.position, which is the position of the whole crate. Then a rotation, since it looks the same all the way around, it doesn't matter what rotation. So I'm gonna do quaternion.identity, which is basically just a reset rotation. 0, 0, 0, essentially. And then I can do a parent. In this case, I'm not actually going to do a parent. That's basically just what it's going to put this object under. But if you don't have a parent, it's just going to put it under nothing, just in your game in your hierarchy. So there we go. So yeah, I'm basically spawning in the crate at the broken crate at the whole crate's position, and then with a random rotation or it's a reset rotation. Then what I want to do is I then want to destroy the whole crate. So I'm going to do destroy game object, because game object with a lowercase g would be the game object that the script is under, just like transform. So that's basically this is basically gonna spawn in a broken crate at the whole crate's position and then destroy the whole crate. So that should work, I believe. I hope I got everything right there. So if when it loads, you should be able to see the click distance and the broken crate. For the broken crate, I'm just going to go into here, and I'm just going to take the crate broken and put that under there. So that's the broken crate prefab. So now I'm just going to click play. And then you should see the crate. If I then click on it, as you see, it breaks into a bunch of pieces. So that works. And you can even see, I'm actually going to add something. I'm going to go to this, and I basically have this, on the player controller, I have this die method. Basically, that just resets the scene. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm also going to check to see if, this is just for, to simplify it, or just to make it easier, so I don't have to go out and in every time. I want to check to see if you then input .get key down, key code .r. So I'm just going to check to see if you press the R key, I then want to die, or essentially just reload the scene. So that just makes it so I don't have to click play and then out every time I want to reload the scene. I can just break the crate, press R, and it'll reload it. And I even created something nice that you can basically pick up the crate. I can then destroy it and then pick up the individual pieces. I might have not added it. I should have added it, but might be something wrong with it. But yeah, basically, just press R, break the crate, and that's it. So just to show you with a little bit more crates, what I'm going to first of all do is I'm going to take this whole crate and then add this in as my finished product here. So now it's the whole crate. And I can just destroy it, delete this one from the scene. You're good to go. And now whenever you want to add in, that's the wrong one. Now whenever you want to add in a whole crate, just add it in. And you can add in as many as you need. Another thing, real quick, yeah, when you add in your broken crate, you see how there's all these pieces. Under all these pieces, you basically want to add in a rigid body and a collider. So then each of these pieces you can collide with and will collide with other objects, and it has rigid body physics. If I go to the whole crate, that is just one object, as you can see, but it also has a box collider and a rigid body. So that's just something nice. Now if I then go to maximize and play, it should be finished now. Now, as you can see, with 3 individual crates, pick them up if you want to, and then break them. Now, there's actually, I forgot about something. There's one more thing I actually want to add, and that's that if you have like a bunch of crates and you destroy them, it can be annoying with having all those pieces, and it might lag your game if you have enough. So something else I want to do is on the broken crate, I actually want to add a script on it. Yeah, I want to add a component called, I'm just going to call this broken crate. And then this is going to have a timer, and after the timer exceeds a certain value, it will destroy the crate. Destroy the broken crate, in this case. So, what I'm going to have is on update, I'm basically going to create a timer. So I'm going to create a float being a called timer. And I'm going to set this. Actually, what I'm going to actually do is up here, I'm going to create a float called timer. And then on update, I'm then going to set timer to then plus equal time dot delta time. Basically meaning that the timer float will go up by 1 each second. I then want to check to see if the timer is greater than or equal to some sort of value. In this case, I'm just going to create a public variable being a float, and I'm just going to call this destroy time. So this is the time after, like, after this amount of time it will be destroyed. So I'm going to call this, I'm going to add this destroy time variable. So if the timer is greater than or equal to the destroy time, I'm then going to then destroy this game object. And for the destroy time, I'm going to set that equal to, I don't know, 10 seconds. How about that? So after 10 seconds, this crate should be destroyed, and I can modify that value, that destroy crate value, as you can see right here, and you can modify that to be however much you need. I'm just going to leave it on 10. Actually, just for the video, I'm actually going to lower that a little bit. I'm going to make it like 3. Just so you don't have to wait 10 seconds for it to destroy. Then if I go up to this, I can destroy the crate, and after 3 seconds, it goes away. So I can do that to all the crates, and they will destroy themselves after that amount of time. And again, you can modify the value. So thanks everybody for joining me for this Unity tutorial, and hope to see you for the next one.